Hello, I'm Danny from Brattleboro Union High School, and I'm going to read you this excerpt. When in the course of human events, it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitle them, a decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by the Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed, that whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it, and to institute new government, laying its foundations on such principles and organizing its powers in such form, as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Prudence, indeed, will dictate that government long established should not be changed for light and transient causes, and accordingly all experience hath shown that mankind are most disposed to suffer while evils are sufferable, than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed. But when a long train of abuses and usurpations evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government, and to provide new guards for their future security. Such has been the patient sufferance of these colonies, and such is now the necessity which constrains them to alter their former system of government. The history of the present King of Great Britain is a history of repeated injuries and usurpations, all having in direct object the establishment of an absolute tyranny over these states. To prove this, let facts be submitted to a candid world. I am here with a few classmates representing the BUHS Peace Jam Club. Lissa Winman of Wyndham World Affairs Council and the Brattleboro Words Project will help us all understand why we are here.
Thank you so much for doing that, Danny. I'm Melissa Weinman, and I'm here tonight representing the Wyndham World Affairs Council and the Brattleboro Words Trail, which I also work on. It's an audio storytelling project here in town that celebrates the rich history of writing, printing, and publishing in Brattleboro. But tonight we're here because we are interested in your ideas about how Brattleboro can mark the anniversary of the 250th birthday of the United States. And that preamble that Danny just read from the Declaration of Independence is what got the ball rolling. Yet we're all here now, 250 years later, still trying to perfect the Union, in the words of the Constitution, which came about 20 or so years after the Declaration. Well, it was 1788, I believe. The Constitution came in 1776 with the Declaration. But never mind, we're here tonight to share ideas about how Brattleboro can mark this anniversary. And pleased to be here with some collaborators. We're not here to direct anything or to lead anything. We're just here to share information and to make people aware that this anniversary is coming up in 2026, and preparations have already begun around the country to celebrate, to mark, commemorate, whatever word you want to use. It's a big milestone in our country's history, and it's a big milestone for us all, so that's why we're here tonight. I'm here with Star Latronica from Brooks Memorial Library, and Lynn Barrett from Vermont Independent Media and the Commons, and many other people. Rich Holschuth's here from representing the El New Abenaki, and Megan Albert is the state representative. Can you come on up, Megan, please? I didn't even know that you had arrived yet, so come on over here, because we're going to also hear from Megan Albert, who is the state coordinator for the Vermont America 250 anniversary. So we'll hear from Megan just a little bit too about different plans for the state. Now, Vermont Independent Media, Brooks Library, and the Wyndham World Affairs Council got together about a year ago thinking about this anniversary, and we began a program in collaboration with the Vermont Humanities Council, which we call Examining American Identity and Leadership in a Changing World. And we've already begun programming last year town halls that we've been holding at Brooks with Professor Meg Mott, who some of you know is our local Constitution Wrangler. And she has been using the words of our founding document to examine controversial, challenging issues that we face today as a sort of guide and a remembrance for us, and to help us grapple with some of these issues in a productive and civil way. So we're here to get your ideas, and we really envision there being quite a diversity of things that can start happening right now in terms of this commemoration. So we'd like to welcome everybody and really encourage you tonight to share your ideas, whether they're individual or they're ideas that you just have right out of the blue or ideas for your organization. We want to share them and we want to start acting on them. And Brooks Library is going to be providing a room at the library, which Star can tell you more about because she's going to say a few words too, that will be a once a month place for people interested in planning to gather. So that it will be a result of tonight, will be a place to go and join and share ideas moving forward. Wyndham World Affairs Council got involved with this because we really do understand that the United States has been a beacon, and President Biden just did his farewell address, and he used the Statue of Liberty as his main image in that address, and it's very fitting for us to reflect on that too, because the Statue of Liberty was inaugurated and emplaced at the 100-year anniversary of the founding of the United States. And some of you might not realize that the pedestal for the statue, which is about 12 stories high and a work of art in its own right, was actually designed right here in Brattleboro by Richard Morris Hunt, a son of Brattleboro, and he designed the pedestal for the Statue of Liberty. So as if we needed more excuse to get involved, we have a real role that we played in the Statue of Liberty that we need to remind ourselves of. And that poem by Emma Lazarus that's in the Statue of Liberty, The New Colossus, really, the words of it are so beautiful and they really speak to us today. And it was really about, a different approach to government that the United States represented. So I'm just going to check here and see if there's anything else I'm missing. So we invite you to find creative ways to reflect and represent where we've been, but more importantly, where we're going, and how to share that vision with the rest of the state and the nation. The Declaration promises a country where equality is self-evident and promises security and happiness. Knowing full well that these ideals have fallen short in many people's experience, how do we bring attention to the need to make those a reality for everybody? We want Brattleboro to be represented in all its diversity, and we want to use this milestone to come together to share ideas and plan ways that we can honor our differences and strive to come together about the things we have in common and our vision for America. E pluribus unum. Now I'd like to introduce Star Latronica to say a few words. Here you go.
Thanks, Lisa, and thanks for spearheading the whole effort to get the ball rolling on this. And we're here not just to give information, but we're here to get your ideas. Because, as you know, Brooks Memorial Library is really responsive to the community. We're a community-driven institution. So we want to know what you want to see for the next year and a half. And so we are looking for suggestions and for presenters and for topics for programs that will examine events, ideas, and institutions that have brought us to this moment. We will, of course, because we are the library, we will be featuring book displays, book lists, book discussion groups. And ever since I moved here, and I've talked to Howard Burroughs about this many times, I wanted to have a Brattleboro canon. So the books and the movies that have contributed, that inform and illustrate the character of our community. What are the books that have made us who we are, and the films? And what are those books and films that you would love to share with all your neighbors, that you wish you had that common experience? So that's one of the things I hope to be compiling in the next year and a half. So as we know, as the country has been increasingly divided, we do look forward to coming together with all of our neighbors, and this 250th anniversary gives us an opportunity to plan those kinds of activities. And who was at the event last night with the Secretary of State? All right. And really the overwhelming interest was in having more conversation, having community conversations. So we will be looking to start a community conversation series at the library where it will be informal. There will be beverages. So you can have a cup of tea or a cup of coffee, and we want to have this community conversation cafe that give folks a chance to come together and chat about any number of things. It doesn't have to be about the history of this country or the future of this country, but a chance to chat about things that we have in common and find ways of communicating those to one another. Because we really do know, and I really do believe that we have much more in common than we have that divides us. So as Lisa mentioned, we are really pleased to provide a space every fourth Wednesday from 6 to 8 for folks to come together and talk about how they want to commemorate, how they want to observe the history that has brought us here. And I would like to introduce you, where did you go? Oh, there, against the wall.
Sorry, what was that time again?
It will be every fourth Wednesday from 6 to 8. Starting in February. Thank you. And this is all being facilitated by our wonderful, wonderful program specialist, and that is Tara O'Brien. Many of you know her. She's standing there against the wall. And she and I both have our business cards on that table, so please do take them and get in touch with us with ideas. We will also be continuing the Town Hall series with Meg Mott that Lisa alluded to. And how many of you have ever been to a Meg Mott program? Really fantastic, right? Yes, yeah. Russ has given us the thumbs up, so I know it's good. And this spring we will have a discussion on 1776 and the unfinished revolution. And Meg will guide us through a close examination of the language of the Declaration of Independence. And in case you'd like your own copy of the preamble, we have some on the table back there. And we also have a link to the full text, which you can find in many places. So now it is my pleasure to introduce Lynn Garrett.
Hello, everybody. I'm Lynn Barrett. Tonight I'm representing the Commons, and I see we have our other great reporters over here from the Brattleboro newspaper. So I want to just say what our mission is for the Commons. I think it's important to this event. Vermont Independent Media is founded on the belief that independent journalism is critical for the functioning of democracy and is the lifeblood of our community. So we're happy to be here, and thank you very much. As had been said before, tonight's event is a unique opportunity to come together and brainstorm ideas for how Brattleboro will commemorate America's 250th. The great thing, these are some rules, the great thing about brainstorming is that there are no bad ideas. All ideas are welcome, and all will go on a list for consideration at another time that we will probably be spreading around to the community. A few thoughts about why your organization or group might be interested in participating. It's an association with a positive and educational historic mission and messaging. Recognition of your organization, nonprofit, or business as supporting a community effort to bring change for the better. It aligns your organization, business, or nonprofit with Brattleboro's history, social values, diversity, civility, etc. And as a public relations person, some of you may know, that's what I do also. I've been involved with many major commemorative events over the years, including the world's largest lighted flags on the Citicorp building in New York City to celebrate the 200th anniversary of the U.S. Constitution. Quick picture. I don't know if you can see it, but it was a big event. So I've been asked to sort of kick off some ideas. Some sort of an event to kick off and honor those who came before us, maybe on the old bridge and or in another historic setting. Historic, I can imagine all kinds of historic tours, special talk series, maybe Ken Burns and Meg Mott and others, certainly others, stories about our first settlers. These could be shared on podcasts, online about hopes and dreams for the future of Brattleboro and the country. I'm imagining that the arts community is going to play a special part. Arts events and gallery shows, maybe even a play about, how we started and how it went. A history, a quiz event at the Latches, maybe. Shows, plays, historical movies to commemorate and honor. We want to commemorate and honor those who fought in the Revolutionary War. A commemorative book about the early history of Brattleboro. And I know that we're going to be participating with the 4th of July parade. Maybe, a possible theme would be a pageant of history as a commemoration of human rights and democracy. Maybe an essay contest in the schools, and different talks in the schools, maybe with Meg. I don't know if she would do that, but that would be something, and maybe she's already doing that. Maybe we could even design a special flag for Brattleboro, representing who we are and our shared experiences. I mean, there's so many things you can think about. So now, I'm going to come back to Alyssa, and she will do the next introduction.
Yeah, I want thank you for sharing some of those initial ideas. Those are the kinds of things we're looking for, and we'll have time to really share your ideas and then break into small groups just so that we can discuss, and people who are interested in a specific idea can get together with others who are interested in it, and we can have a little smaller discussions among ourselves tonight. But right now I'd like to introduce Rich Holshoe, who is with the Atoe Project, which is based at the retreat farm, right? I mean, big kind of...
Not anymore.
Oh, okay. All right, you have your new place you'll tell us about. But Rich will be here to maybe do a quick land acknowledgement and also share some news. And then we're going to hear also from Megan Albert, who'll tell us a little bit more about the what's going on statewide. So Rich, I'll put it over to you. Thank you.
Leonie, thank you, Lissa. Thank you, everybody. Kwa mziwi, and Delawizi Lisal, and I want Tastigak, Talisukwakik, and we go down Namiolan, Pamgisigak. Let me freelance here. Uleguso, Ndaibana, Kasiwi, Pamlonkwik. It's good that we're all here together tonight. My name is Rich. I'm a student of the language, so some things I can flip off like that, and other things I gotta do a little thinking. My name is Rich Holshoe, former chair of the Vermont Commission on Native American Affairs. I just stepped down. Somebody else can do that work, ably. I put 7 years in there. I live here in Wantastaguk. That's the traditional name for this place, which you may not be familiar with, but I hope you hear it again quite a few times. I'm here to open up space. I'm not in charge of anything, but I'm here to be with you in community. We're all in community here now. There's an idea put out by a Chinese philosopher, geographer, which is very simple, the idea that space plus culture equals place.
Could you tell us or translate what you just said in?
Sure.
Yeah, that would be
I'll try to go through blow by blow,
Okay.
or just the name of the place. All of it?
Well, I want to hear the whole thing.
Okay.
That's something.
Kwai mziwi. Greetings, everyone. When I say kwai to you in Abenaki, what I'm saying is, I acknowledge that you are here. It's kind of a gesture of respect. We recognize each other. And I'll just toss in here now, because Lissa asked me to, the idea of a land recognition or land acknowledgement, because they're the same thing. If I look at you and I recognize you, or I'm just getting to know you, I want to acknowledge you, that you're here. So kwai. We are in the homelands of the Sokoki Abenaki people. This particular part of the Connecticut River Valley has been homelands for those people and their antecedents, their ancestors, for 13,000 years. Right, so we're looking at 250 years next year for the United States of America. For Brattleboro, we're going back to about 1760, just a few years earlier, not that far. The charter was a few years before that. But people have been stomping around here with mastodons, with caribou, with things that we don't see anymore. And they're still here. Asquanol Dibana Yodali, we are still here. And we're all here now. And our task is to tell our stories to each other, to figure it out. What are we gonna do now? We're going into the future. And the future is created out of the past. All of these stories, they all come together. They're all still here. Things that happened here 3,000 years ago are still here. If they weren't underwater, you could go down to the West River and see petroglyphs that are upwards of 3,000 years old, right here in Brattleboro, or Wantastaguk, as I know it. So, Kwai Mziwi, greetings everyone. In Delawizi, I am called Lisal Richard. In Dai, Wantastagak, Talisukwakik, I am this place. I don't live here, I am this place. And this place is me, because we're all connected. Right? I drank water from Brattleboro pipes this morning. It went into me, it became part of me. Brattleboro is me. Think of it. I eat food that comes from here. I am Brattleboro. I'm breathing the same air you're breathing right now. We are porous. If you need to wear a mask, please do. Times are hard. So that's basically what I said. This is Wantastaguk.
So what I'm understanding is a sense of place being part of us, and we're all here, and we're all part of it. This is Brattleboro, which was, for 13,000 million years, was lived in by the...
Yes, there have been people here in relationship with this place, with each other, and we're all in relationship with each other now. Thanks, you got it. So
I
we,
think I got it.
for sure.
Yeah.
So we. So the language of this land is Abenaki. It's the native tongue here. It's a language that's in recovery. It's worth learning because when you learn that language, you understand this place better. It's super cool. If you're a second or third language speaker, you understand that you have access into another culture when you learn that language. And learning a new language comes with challenges because you don't know the culture. It's very unfamiliar. It's not the water you swim in. But there's a lot of stories. We're here to share. We're here to open up space. Bring them out. You don't know where you're going if you don't know where you came from, right? Simple. I want to mention that fellow Elnu Abenaki citizen, which is headquartered here in the Brattleboro area. We have a tribal headquarters, cultural center on 350 Putney Road. Last place on the left before you cross the river on the bridge, with the cobblestone wall around it. And we are having public events, rolling them out very slowly, so I hope you can come by and visit someday. I also do work with Retreat Farm. Not legal partners right now, but still active partners. And I've worked with Brattleboro Words Project, contributed to that. A lot of good work here. Lynn has printed articles about the petroglyphs up the river at Bellows Falls. Lots of stories, endless stories, and they're all really cool. So bring yours. And I'm supposed to mention that, back to Elnu Abenaki and Megan. The Commission on Native American Affairs, which I was chairing, has an administrative director named Brianna Sheehan. She's from Westminster. She is the Commission's representative on the Vermont 250. Is it called a council or a board?
Commission.
Commission. Okay, got it wrong. Commission on the Commission. And Brianna could not be here tonight, but she would like to join some meetings in the future. I'm really glad that Brianna's there doing that work. I'm living here, and I hope we see each other again soon. That's enough for me.
Do you want to?
Megan.
Megan.
Megan Albert. Director, is that the official title?
So I'm the Vermont 250th Anniversary Commission Event Coordinator.
Okay,
Essentially the administrator for the commission.
it's all yours.
It's great to see you all here today. So the Vermont 250th Anniversary Commission is essentially working to help all communities throughout the state tell their stories. They are not actually planning events, they're hoping to help everyone that is. So there's a commission made up of several members, including educators, historians. As Bridget said, we have Native American representation and community builders. But there's also committees under the commission, which includes the Research and Historical Committee, School and Teacher Outreach, Arts and Cultural Heritage, Marketing, and then the Executive and Financial committees. There are several people on all of those committees, but if you're interested in joining one, please do. They always need help. So some of the things they've been doing so far have been hosting webinars to help people understand, how they can approach planning any of the commemorations. And those are available on our YouTube site. We also have a website with an official calendar. If you have any events that are planned, you can submit a form to have those events placed on the calendar. And then that way anyone can
What's your YouTube?
Find out about them.
What would we look for on the YouTube?
So the YouTube is on the Vermont Historical Sites page,
Okay.
but it is also available on the official website. We also have a Facebook and Instagram, so as soon as you start planning all of your events, we can post them there too, so you have multiple ways to get the word out about your events before they happen. We also have a newsletter that will be coming out. So on the website there will be a form you can fill out to put your email on there, and then you can stay informed about what's been happening per month around the state. There's several towns that are already starting quite a bit of planning. That's actually one of the reasons I walked in a little bit late. I was at the Bennington 250 meeting, And they are starting to get a jump start. For example, they were talking about a student debate at one of the local high schools. They're planning some plays, and of course, being the battle monument is there, they usually do a big parade, so they're focused on how to make it even bigger and better. And so, as I said, the commission is not really planning any of these events, but we're completely available to you as soon as you have any questions, or as soon as you get, jump started on the products that you're interested in. So I'm here in case you have any questions. I'm available. I could always also give you my email address, but if you think of anything while I'm here, please do.
Thank you.
Thanks. So now comes the fun part, which is, if you guys have any questions, we're here to, no judgment. Everybody has something to say, some ideas, we're sure, and we want to just hear. So even though we're going to sit up here, we're going to gather with you, but let's just open it up now. And if anybody has any question, Susan Healy from Wyndham World Affairs Council, who always puts out a lovely spread. Thank you so much, Susan, for all the work you do with Wyndham World Affairs. We love you so much. She's going to sort of jot down some of the ideas. And then after about 15 minutes of kind of everybody hearing from each other, we're going to break into some smaller groups. So if somebody mentions something that you're intrigued by, you can go sit at a table with them and have about 20 minutes, 25 minutes to talk, and then we'll reconvene and say goodbye to each other, and that's the end of the night at 7:30. So let's get the ball rolling. Tara's got a microphone. Does anybody want to ask any questions or share an idea? We want to hear from you. Come on, let's go. Let's happen.
Hi, my name is Ken Fay. I'm curious, does Brattleboro have a sister city somewhere in the world?
Yes.
I think that there's a number of sister cities. In fact, at the municipal center, there's a sign up outside of BCTV that has a list of many different cities that Brattleboro has had. I know there was a relationship with the Native American Reservation and Pine Ridge with the Sunrise Rotary and many others I recall. So yes, I don't know what they are. What's your idea?
I just thought if they were asked to provide what their thoughts of our birthday was, that a different perspective instead of looking, have an outsider.
Yes, that's a great idea. That's a great idea. Who else wants to throw something in the common pot? Yes, if you could say your name when you get up to, that would be great.
Chris Cook. I'm wondering, are most of the events intended to be for local people, or are we inviting people from other states? I grew up in New York City. My mother grew up in New York City. My dad grew up, well, actually about 300 miles that way, one of the burbs of Albany. And he was always the one saying to us, you're from a big city, you just don't understand small town. Small town does things better. I don't know, I love my home. But for the 50th anniversary of the end of World War II, Dad was living down by the city and kind of looking, he's a World War II veteran, he's a Bronze Star. He was kind of looking for, something, some celebration, and he was complaining, there's nothing happening. And I said, Dad, come up. And he had a blast. He was here for the parade. It was all over the place. Took 2 or 3 rolls of film. Went back and told all his friends, and they were all jealous that they hadn't come up because they said we sat there and watched stuff on television, and here was George seeing it. Brattleboro does a great parade. It's a lot of work, but you do a great parade, and it might be good if we did stuff and invited people from elsewhere.
Megan, do you have any thoughts on the appeal? I think Lynn does. I mean, that it is often described as a tourism opportunity too. Would you like to talk about that?
Absolutely, I agree with that. And I feel that so far, the towns that have already started commemorations have been thinking about that. And they do want to invite people to their communities. I think that's a very important part of planning for the commemorations.
Yeah, like people are going to be looking for things to do and they're going to be choosing places to go. Why not Brattleboro?
Is it gonna be in a certain month, or is it gonna be all summer, or a whole?
Well, that's just it. I mean, we've already begun our little collaboration that we have around these town halls, and we've already begun with a series of lectures, not just the Meg Mont, but other things where we're asking this question: who are we as Americans? Where do we want to go?
We actually kicked it off last year,
Yeah.
when we had the Larry and Joe concert at Next Stage Arts, and we brought in a filmmaker who, a documentary film, Cure for Hate, about a former white supremacist who made amends by making a pilgrimage to Auschwitz. So we're operating with a grant from the Vermont Humanities, so we're partnering with them, and our goal is to bring other nonprofits together in order to bring the humanities in a broader way to Brattleboro. I just wanted to give a plug, a March event in March 16th. That same filmmaker,
In case people can't hear, I don't know.
that same filmmaker who did Cure for Hate has a new project called Invisible Doctrine: The Secret History of Neoliberalism. And for that event, we're going to be partnering with the Brattleboro Lit Fest and the Latches, because Pete Hutchinson is the filmmaker and author of the book in partnership with a Guardian journalist, George Monbiot. And this book is #1 in the UK. So we're going to have the opportunity on March 14th at a literary cocktail hour to hear from both of them, and then we'll have a community screening on Sunday of the film, and we'll have Pete there for a Q&A after the film. And where we are today is very much a result of neoliberalism. And as we are all sorting through where we are, this book and film speak to so many ways in which you have just, you know what's going on, but sort of never had a label for it. And this tells the story. So it's going to be a great event, and that's an America 250 event.
Please.
Hello, my name is Dashiell Moise, and my idea was, I heard something about, you mentioned a flag. I thought, oh, that'd be a cool idea. So I was thinking about like either a physical flag, mural, or art piece that was just like, it had the American flag on it, maybe had the Vermont flag, and then Black Lives Matter and LGBTQ flag incorporated into that one piece. I just thought it'd be cool.
So redesigning the flag, is that?
Yeah, just like one piece that has all 4 of those elements in it that's kind of in the shape of a flag. Yeah.
And that's something that could even be displayed as part of the parade.
Yeah,
or
exactly.
at the high school, or across Main Street. Yeah, there's been some talk, maybe Star, didn't you have an idea about sort of a fabric art kind of thing with the stitch and sew groups? Maybe creating a large banner or mural that people could work on collectively? I think sounds kind of sort of along the lines. So, yeah. I want to mention too that one thing that's going to happen in the spring of 2026, probably about around April, the new Amtrak station is going to open in Brattleboro, brand new. It's going to open in the spring of 2026. So that might provide an opportunity too to look at the railroads, or do something around that new building in town, which brings so many people here and is so important.
Could display the new flag or tapestry.
Yeah. Who else?
Great.
I have a,
Oh, I'm on this side.
Oh, Prudence.
Let's hear.
Prudence dictates.
I'm not going to dictate. So, about the schools, I think what I have younger children, meaning that they're younger than me, and but there's a hopelessness I feel amongst young people today, not just about the fires, but about the recent election and a lot of other stuff. Whether you are looking forward to the next administration or not, there's a general unhappiness. And I think that one of the ways to combat unhappiness is to get for people to feel their power, especially young people who have so little power anyway. So I'd really like to see the schools, and is this a Windham County deal only, or is it Brattleboro only? Because there's several school districts in Windham County, and I think there needs to be an effort to reach out to them and have something for every level of students. So not just the high school kids, but also all the way down to elementary school. And I think we could involve the Bellows Falls Opera House and also the Latches Theater. Those sit empty all day long during the week. This would be a great time to have a school effort where they are going in to see Ken Burns movies and things like that to get them involved. And for the younger kids, there's cartoon movies that are very feel good about history in America, and then tie that into some kind of, I hesitate to use the word essay contest, but they would have a number of subjects to choose from, like where I would like America to be in the next 250 years, where I'd like to be America to be at the end of my lifetime, what I'd like to see change about America, but all just aimed at empowering them and making them feel part of the process instead of just consumers. Because we have a very heavy-duty consumer society, and part of that is a visual addiction to screens. So I was thinking if we could pry the kids off the little screens and get them into some big screens and get them into a situation where they're sitting with other people experiencing something. There's an emotional wave that goes across these theaters sometimes, and it's visceral and you can feel it. And I would love the kids to feel that. So that's what I have to say.
And maybe they could do a graphic novel.
And maybe they could do a graphic novel, says Star.
Instead of an essay.
Well, that would involve, talking to the district, I think, and I think the district is very open to those kinds of ideas moving forward. So that, when folks get together to talk, maybe there's somebody here in the room that knows people or is part of the district. I know that the district is also doing an accreditation thing at the high school, and they're creating this profile of a BUHS grad. You guys might have heard about this, but they're attributes, and they're asking the community to define attributes that people want to see in the products of the public school system. So that is a conversation that's going on right now at the district, and they're having brainstorming sessions. I went to one last night, and they're very interesting. So if you're interested, talk to me about that. Who there was another person over here with, was it Betty or Beatrice?
My name is B. Fantini, and I have been a resident of this great state for 59 years. And I like to refer to what Ken said, and I'm sorry, I missed your name, said about bringing people or connecting with people, sister cities, or people from other states. And I think we have to remember what President Kennedy said one time, that this country is a nation of immigrants. And with a recent influx of refugees from another country. I think we have to also try to include those people that are here. They don't have to come from, they already came from another place, and see how these people are still contributing to, the growth of this country and how we are helping them. So to involve them in some way will be, I think, a great thing to do.
Yes. Yes.
Oh,
Oh, Tina first then.
yeah. This is such an exciting opportunity. I get excited and can't think straight. But I've been living in Vermont. I grew up in Springfield, Mass. And I have ancestors that go back to Deerfield. And I was a creative arts therapist for my career. And I watched the toll of trauma. And I looked at my own family and found that there was the cost of trauma. It turns out that I had ancestors in the Deerfield massacre. They were here for justice, liberty, peace, and all that. They were also here to commit genocide, and they were burned at the stake. And my cousin said, who was an anthropologist up at Dartmouth, said, "You probably deserved it." And I stopped me, which I agree with, of course. What do you expect? But I looked at my family, and we have the cost of what happened here. I think is worth looking at the idea of we can do it better. What would it be like if, when our ancestors came over with the idea that let's take what's good here, a sense of the sacred of the earth, how different it would be. What in our own family has been the cost of this history. What do we do right? What do we do wrong? How can we do it better? So, I'm a painter, and I have been working with the idea of what we call creative relations. Where do we come from? Where does the crimes and the good, and how is it part of us, and how could we make this history? How would it be different if we had come with a sense of the earth as sacred? If we had begun from the beginning with a sense of let's live in a sustainable way. Who are these people here? Who are we? What are we bringing? And it's very hard for me to explain this because my own work is involved in it. I look at the sense of being numb and not knowing why, what's the suffering about that trauma does, but I think it's time for us to look at that. Guess that's what I'd like to see it as art projects, as, how do we do it better? How do we do it different? So that's it.
Thank you. Yeah. Tina, I wrote creative relations and honest exploration of our past. What if we did it differently? And exploring
That's
that
about
through
right,
art.
yeah.
Okay.
In whatever way we could do that.
So hi folks, I'm Margaret Atkinson. I'm here tonight representing the Brattleboro Music Center and the lovely people there. This town has an incredible, vibrant arts community and many, many excellent music presenters, venues, musicians. And so if this is a celebration, there's gotta be music of some kind. So that's what I offer. I think there's many opportunities between, we already work in the schools, we already partner with, the Jazz Center and the Youth Theater and all that, but I think that there's an incredible opportunity to have some cross-organization, work to present all sorts of music, exploring many themes. The Music Center is deeply committed to presenting music from perhaps overlooked and unknown composers in the classical canon. We, have an incredibly vibrant traditional music scene, and my hope is that this conversation can start, some cross work with that. So.
Yeah, maybe something like traditional dances and music from the time of the
From the time of the
1700s.
the 1700s was a pretty happening time for music.
At the retreat barn or something, a big party.
Or our lovely concert hall in Brattleboro. There's many places that we could go.
Did you? Yeah.
Hi, Melanie Winters from the Brattleboro Reformer. So on one of the suggestions on this press release here was theatrical productions. I thought it'd be neat to have like living history skits. If anybody's ever been to Colonial Williamsburg in Virginia, they have like on the town square just a random bunch of actors getting together and doing a skit. So you'll be walking down the road and there'll be a skit right there. So maybe like during the parade day or something like that, like after the parade on the Commons or something like that, you could have a series of skits. They could be, based on America 250, based on something specific to Brattleboro, like the discussion between New York and New Hampshire, that type of thing. So.
I just want to say I'm at the library, and Bill Holiday called today saying he couldn't be here and he apologized, but he wanted to bring up that the Historical Society wants to work on markers throughout town with QR codes that would maybe have a picture of what the scene looked like 100 years ago. So that's something that they're interested in working on, and they said if anybody was interested in joining them on that, to approach the Historical Society.
That's great.
I'm Terry Carter, and I just came here tonight to listen. I didn't really have any sound idea, but as people talk, I bring something has arisen in my mind that has come up a lot in my memory the last decade, really, with the political climate. I'm giving away my age. I grew up with post-World War II parents. And my dad and my uncles and a couple of my aunts all served in World War II. And this was a small town, a little quaint little colonial farm town. And then this right next to us was a mill town. And my childhood, we didn't just have our parents were everywhere. There was such amazing camaraderie amongst that generation that no longer exists. In some way, all of them were involved in this war to prevent fascism from spreading around the world. And they were so grateful to be alive, because a lot of them did not come home. A lot of them were on the front lines, and it was contagious. My dad would walk us to Milford, and the whole fire department would be hanging out, and they would all know each other, and somebody would crack a joke, and they would all laugh. It was wonderful. It was beautiful. I feel like to honor them, the aftermath, the elation, the sense of purpose that they had that you don't see anymore. That this was just amazing camaraderie. And often, being a kid, my friends and I would sometimes, you grown up, and they would, you guys have no idea. And of course, being a kid, we were sort of, but as time goes on, I don't know how. I'm just, these ideas have inspired me to just share this, but I do feel we owe it to them to share what they sacrificed because now it's such a pivotal time in our own government. And to honor them, I think we need to resurrect and educate and inspire people and understand how relevant it is and how important. And I used to make fun of them, and here I am standing in front of all of you guys. So thank you. Yeah.
Are there any other ideas from regarding some of the things that come up, or thoughts about different ways that the parade could be enhanced, or events leading up to the, here's a gentleman here.
So I'm relatively new here. My name is Mark Seiler, and as I'm thinking, I'm wondering of the things that would make us to unite more are rarely age, politics, things like that. But I was visiting another city not too long ago that has a rich history, and one of the ideas that I thought would be clever is if there's sculptors that are here or near here that can put something that we all would be okay with. For instance, birds. The connection to the place, I like the idea, and to use small sculptures of animals and things of nature here that are put in strategic places around the town, that someone can then take a hunting map, you might call, I don't know, something that really gets them about the town to see different areas and places on a thing that we all can unite on. We all pretty much generally agree on things of nature and our connection to it, and its importance in our lives. And so if there was a way to incorporate arts and then something maybe practical for the town to attract people and introduce them to who we are, our places, then they might have a little brochure that says, find the gray squirrel. It's somewhere on Bluff Street, and it happens to be right next to something like Latches, and you get a little history of that when you find it. So I don't know how that might be done, either in old print or something electronic, but the idea is to move people about the town on something that we all would easily...
Treasure hunt.
A treasure hunt, there you go.
Yeah. Right, I was writing scavenger hunt.
A scavenger.
Scavenger's a different connotation.
May I? Yeah, hello. I've been listening to this suggestions, and it seems like this is a real fire hose of history that we're trying to consume and translate into some events that will last during the next year. And we may have to limit ourselves to something that just concerns Brattleboro or Windham County, rather than trying to start with the Declaration of Independence and all of these other things that have been said so many times, and they're in books and on the web, and Google can tell you what you don't know. If we can limit it to something that's the Brattleboro centric or Windham County centric, it would be very helpful. Most of my life I've been a Vermonter. I think a lot of these people in this room have moved into the wonderful state of Vermont, and maybe I'm wrong, but I do appreciate that I'm living here amongst people that are like me. It's like the right size pond that I live in. Where am I going with this?
I think you wanted to involve the Legion somehow? The Legion?
Well, that would be nice, but I don't see anybody here that seems to be wandering over from the other side of the Legion activities tonight.
We'll give them some time.
Oh, thank you. That's a point. Thank you, Lynn. One of the thoughts that I have is that I've been living in Brattleboro most of my life, but I appreciated that or recognized that the people who call themselves veterans feel they're a separate community than the rest of us who are. Well, I'm a veteran myself, but the both ends, excuse me for calling you the civilians, but we've got to recognize ourselves as all the same. We're part of the community, and I wish that would happen. I guess I'm babbling on, but that's kind of my thought. Keep it local, and let's get more people involved. That's it.
The idea of in organizing and involving veterans, I think, is critically important because, you know, nobody hates war more than a veteran. And I think it's so important for us to remember the lives lost and the lives that continue to be lost every day by veterans also who commit suicide in our country. So perhaps a focus on that is something that we should really seriously consider for America 250. I just want to say something about the neoliberalism events. That's a term that people might sort of gloss over, but it's really about economic inequality. It's really about the expansion of the rich at the expense of the poor, and that is the exploration that we're engaged in with that book, and that is why it's so popular. And those words of the Declaration regarding everyone is equal. Well, that is really not the case in our society today. I think we can all acknowledge that, and maybe that is a theme that we should be really thinking about as we approach this. It's not just a celebration, although it is a celebration. It's a commemoration of what could be as we try to form a more perfect union. Yes.
Thank you. Sheila Linton, I use she, her pronouns. I'm born and raised here in Brattleboro, raised my children and have grandchildren here. I'm also the co-founder and executive director of the Root Social Justice Center, which is a local nonprofit here centering Blackness and prioritizing the needs of our Black, Indigenous, and people of color here in Brattleboro, throughout the state and beyond. So I wear a very personal hat in connection with this land, and then I have the professional hat and representing some of my people of color in this space. And when I look around the room, which is usually the case, it's usually pretty white. And I do appreciate those of you who do not identify as white being in the space and sharing your voices and your ideas as well. Because what I'm really interested in and what we talk about a lot as people of color is accurate representation and visibility. And so part of me is concerned, which is less concerned by hearing the conversation and by watching that video, which I thought was very interesting, around how do we represent and create visibility without people going into white fragility or boohooing or sadding or boycotting or whatever words or terms we want to use. How do we really tell the truth? And then if that truth only exists into 250 years, is there a need to go beyond that 250 years for the actual accurate truth? And so I had a question around, are we starting from only 250 years ago? And if we do, who does that leave out? And what story does that actually, or narrative does that actually leave us with? And so I would encourage us to be careful that as we talk about 250 years, how did we get to that 250 years? As Rich mentioned, 13,000 years of our Indigenous people being here. So one of the ideas and thoughts are, I would love to have the Indigenous language in our community, our road signs, our how we label things, how we interact with the land. That would be amazing. And if it was too much to take down Winter Street and put something else up, then we could have both. you know, that this is the Indigenous, just kind of like how they did on the highway. It used to be exit 26, but now it's like 48. You start there. And maybe we can get to that. But that would be so educational. To be able to look at the land and understand who we really are and where we've really come from and what this land really is. To me, that feels really inspiring. I would like to, we talk about honoring the veterans and honoring the forgotten souls the people who were visible, those Black, Indigenous, and all those other people that we don't even know their names or that they even exist. So as we talk about honoring people, let's honor the people we don't even know. That we need to do the research and do the work to find out, like, as we honor these people who either fought or participated or whatever their roles were, and that's the way we want to celebrate them, that we have to realize that there are people who are walking beside them who aren't being celebrated, that lost lives. And I would love to see honoring those people as well. I love the Historical Society marker thing. I'm gonna check in on that. Advertisement. I just wanted to say that, we're so consumed with a lot of things nowadays, and it's really hard. As I consider myself, I guess, a middle-aged person now, and believe it or not, I'm almost 50. So I think of that and how inundated we are with information, right? But where do we get our information? And so as we think about it, transportation, right? So the train, the buses, things like that. We're at the gas station, in the city or whatever, they have little TVs and videos and you get little commercials and things. I'm getting to the point. And then like grocery stores. You can't be in that grocery store as long as you want to be if they shut off that music and all those advertisements. You don't really realize you're listening to it until it stops. And you're like, why is it so quiet in here? So my point is, we could be giving out truth and facts on our buses, in the train that comes to Brattleboro, historical facts about our Indigenous people, about our land, about things. So when they get here or when they commute around our communities, they see it everywhere, and it's another space that we're utilizing, that space, advertising something that's great and that's needed and that's informative and all these things. So I would love to use public space in that way and commercialize it in an educational way that really brings the truth of the historical context of this community.
That's great. Like sort of like billboards with factual.
No billboards.
No billboards. No billboards.
But yes, mover. Yes, on the train. At the gas station, in the grocery store.
That's great. And we're so pleased that Brianna Sheehan's been named to the State Commission to represent the Indigenous perspective on the America 250 anniversary. So, and she's from our neck of the woods, our corner of the state. So we're really appreciative of it. Yes?
So I just want to ask a question, so I'll raise my voice.
Yeah, and after that, I think we should maybe break into little groups.
And speaking of the commission, so is there any funding or resources available to local organizations to, develop new programming from this commission?
Yes, there are grants listed on the official website. Right now, there is a planning grant available. The second round is the deadline is coming up relatively soon. It's the end of May, I believe, so there is a bit of time. But there should be.
What kind of dollars are we talking here?
So this initial grant is for planning.
Yeah.
There will be an implementation grant as well, but the planning grant is $1,000.
The plan what?
Any commemorations, yeah.
What we're doing now.
Any of the things you've been talking about today.
Can I share one idea that?
Yeah, and I just want to get the high school students thinking about that too, because that's $1,000 for a planning grant for something to do at the high schools. Could be great. Here, Susan.
I just wanted to share my personal favorite idea that came about as a result of our meeting together to organize this evening. And somebody mentioned it earlier, but having a party on the bridge and the theme being bridging the divide. We're so divided. We're divided as a community. There's so much tension in this town right now. But it would be a big event, and it's a walking bridge. It could be a dance party. It could be a community dinner. But Oh, you bring, well, and then that speaks to what, right, that speaks to what other people want to bring in, people from the outside, New Hampshire. And then a second idea we spoke about, I heard somebody speaking about, but it hasn't come up yet, is rewriting the national anthem. And the music program could be.
I'm not making no promises.
Yeah. So I'm just going to add both those things onto the list.
I'll give you my list too.
I'll give you my list also. Okay.
Well, already talked.
Yeah. I think now, what we were going to do is just take some of these ideas and put them out and try to encourage people to just use this time to talk to each other about some of these ideas and maybe implementing them. What time is it now? The event is, our meeting here.
7:18.
Yeah, so we basically have 15 minutes. And I mean, I don't know, what does everybody think about that idea?
Snacks.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be that formal, but I would just ask that we could.
Well, Star's been categorizing.
Yeah.
So
I have, but I think that we are running out of time, and we talked last night about how important conversation and making connection is. So rather than breaking into groups, what I would love is people that are interested in any of the ideas that were floated tonight, and I'll put these around so you can remember, make a note at your sign-in, and we'll get in touch with you. How does that sound?
That sounds good.
But you saw what people's ideas were. Connect with those people that had an idea that sparked something in you that you would like to collaborate on. Because we only have now probably 10 minutes.
Yeah, about 15 minutes. Yeah.
And so, make a connection with somebody in this room. I heard some great ideas and some great thoughts. And so make those connections, and then I will put these green pieces of paper around if you want to add your name to any of these of things that you would like to work on. They'll be here, and we will be in touch. And remember, the 4th Wednesday from 6 to 8, starting in February.
And please get some snacks.
And get some
The 4th Wednesday from 6 to 8 at the community room at the library, starting in February. There'll be a time to get to reconvene, and like one of us from this collaboration will be there to kind of anchor it. And there's also going to be, like Star said, she's developing a book canon for this anniversary. Perhaps people could share books at that meeting space too. So this is like, there's nothing planned. We're creating it now as we speak. So share your thoughts with others now, and thank you for coming tonight. We really appreciate it. This is going to be aired on BCTV, so people who weren't here can also get together and share on your own. And we just can't wait to see what comes out of it all, because we know with Brattleboro it'll be something great. So thanks to everyone for participating. And thank you, Megan, for coming, sharing with us. Thank you.